Hey guys, and welcome to an in-between episode of Digital Classroom. Now we're waiting for YouTube and everything to catch up, and I can see we're live on YouTube. In a week, are we live on Facebook?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. It seems to be a problem with our bitrate. So what happened last time? We we are now live on Facebook. So what happened last time? Last time we had a 2-hour photo shoot with Nadine and an interview and a lot of talk. And that went great during the live broadcast. So YouTube broadcast everything nice. YouTube, went smooth. Facebook had everything perfect. And then later we got a lot of emails from people like, okay, I couldn't see it live, but during the live broadcast everything was okay. And then we watched the final part on the recording and it was absolutely horrendous. You had a delay of like 8 minutes. And I was going like 8 minutes? That's impossible because during the broadcast everything went fine. So we watched it back ourselves and we actually did have a delay of about 8.5 minutes. The weird thing is we didn't have that delay, believe it or not, on Facebook. So we downloaded the Facebook version, uploaded that to YouTube, and well, that's the one that's online now. Now, somebody gave me the tip. It could be that it's the setting for constant bit rate. We had a variable bit rate and we're now on constant bit rate. And it seems that YouTube saves the file and then does something with it themselves. Magic. In this case, the magic didn't work. So this is a live broadcast. We're going to keep it alive for about half an hour. And the cool thing for you guys is you can ask whatever you want. So I'm here for you guys. Just ask whatever you want. This is an in-between episode of Digital Classroom. And because it's an in-between episode, we are actually going to show you, of course, our promo. Because now we know that we're live for sure. Okay, and we're back. Now, yesterday I asked some people about, okay, if you could ask me anything you want, anything, just email me. And I got some emails in and we're going to answer those questions now. And by the way, I also want to tell you guys hello from Poland. Hello, Jarek. Nice to see you too, although I don't see you, I only see your avatar. So, I don't know if you noticed, but the last few days we've been doing a lot of work on Behind the Closed Doors. Now, Behind the Closed Doors was actually started as not a joke, but because a lot of people say, what are you doing all day? And I was going like, man, we're so busy with stuff. And I thought, you know what, we're going to film it with a camera. And the first camera I use for that is actually, it's pretty cool. It's this one. Actually, no, it's not. We actually started with the iPhone. But after that, I grew up in about one day. We started using this one because it has a cool flip-up screen. It's 180p and it's pretty okay. The problem is when I walked, you actually heard me going like, and a lot of people were worried about my health. Don't worry guys, I'm okay. But it's because the microphones aren't that good and they messed up the sound. And we're now actually experimenting with this one. And this is the A65 from Sony, A6500 from Sony. And we have it on a Gorilla Pod. So now I can actually vlog like this and turn it around very easily. And it's a great little camera. It's very, very lightweight. And the image quality I still have to see. But the A7R II is absolutely amazing. And this one is supposed to be even better. And you have this really cool follow focus. So if you have somebody here, you can just tap it and just drag your finger to the other person and the focus follows. Really, really cool. Okay, so let's start out with some questions. And by the way, before we start with the questions, I have to tell you guys, thanks to our sponsor BenQ, these in-between episodes are possible. They said, well, Frank, we love what you do with Digital Classroom. We get a lot of great responses. Could you do more episodes? And I was going like, we can do more episodes, but let's do it more interesting. Let's start a whole Q&A session and just do those episodes in between. So the first question is from Frank. And I kid you not, it's not my name. It's Frank Colt Anderson, and I hope I pronounced it correctly. So I don't have a studio, so do you have some ideas to do the stuff you do with Nadine out in the field with only one strobe? Yeah, make it difficult. And maybe some speed lights for effect. Frank, in all honesty, you can do what I do anywhere. You don't need a studio, you don't need fancy lighting, you don't need that kind of stuff. Just go out, find a cool location like a tree or a forest or a garden or a fence or an old wall. Put your model against it and you're fine. We've done this stuff all the time. And I'm going to show you some examples because, of course, we're not going to just tell you guys about it. I'm also going to show you. So let's switch to my PC very quickly. There we go. And I will show you some examples. So let's say location work. So let's go to my slideshow. And these are all the shots that I really like. And my drives are now offline, so it can be a little bit slower. So let's see. So we actually use some old doors here. This is just in our studio, so nothing fancy. And of course we created those walls, let's be honest. That's not something we just have in our studio. This was done for a workshop with photics. And this is just an old abandoned building. And this is also Nadine, because you asked for Nadine, of course. It's more a coincidence, but it sounds nice. Okay, let's go more up. Well, of course, I don't know if you have any planes in your garden. Probably not. Your backyard. But these are all done on location and only with one strobe. Now, I love to shoot only with one strobe on location. I don't think you need a lot of strobes. In this case, by the way, this is a cool example. We only used one loom cube. And the loom cube is actually aimed on Nadine's face. So this wasn't even with strobes. There was no room for strobes. Let me see what we have more on location. We do a lot of stuff on location. So this was in an old abandoned factory. And the thing is, you have to find lines. And of course, the styling of Nadine is always very, very cool. Use those wide angles, but show where you are. There are so many shots where somebody would place a model really close to the wall, and then the only thing you have is a brick wall. That's not interesting. Make it interesting. Show the whole surrounding areas, because that's what makes a shot. Let me see. This is in a room in a hotel in Vegas. A lot of shiny areas, very difficult to shoot. And this is on the roof. Now this sounds, on the roof, that's nice. Remember, how hot was it there in a week? 45 degrees? The model literally melted away like 10 or 20 kilograms. And even more. It was incredibly, incredibly hot.
I got a question.
And this is actually just outside our studio with the sun in the back. Only one strobe on the model. And I hear we have a question, but first I'm going to do this. This is in a cornfield, very close to our home. And this is just behind our studio. And this is with no strobes at all, just natural lighting. This is with one strobe. And this is with one strobe and a green gel. So Frank, trust me. Sounds so weird saying that. But Frank, trust me, you don't need fancy equipment to make great shots. So let's go back to my own camera. And let's continue. There we go. Okay, Anouk, you have a question.
Where do you find props or costumes for the photo shoots? Do you hire or buy props?
Okay, where do we find props or costumes for photo shoots? I'm very lucky because I have a good portfolio. And recently we just approached some companies who actually create clothing, like Venidalia, I believe it is. And I'm totally in love with comics like Batman, Spider-Man, Catwoman, Harley Quinn. So we asked them, like, okay, can we rent or borrow clothing for you in exchange of taking pictures? And the first response I got was, yeah, a lot of people ask this, we don't do this. Then I literally a little bit forced them, like, okay, look at my portfolio, please. And we'll just give you those images, you can use them. And in the end, we started out a very, very good cooperation with Venidalia. So you have to be smart. Just make sure that you offer something back. There are many, many people, and we call them gear hounds, who actually are hunting for gear. That don't work. Nobody in the whole wide world will just give you gear because you look nice. Not even a pretty woman. You won't get gear because you look nice. You get gear because you work your freaking ass off. Sorry for the expression. That's the only reason you get gear. There is nobody in the world, maybe Casey Neistat, who will just get stuff for free only for opening it up on his vlog. But remember, his vlog is watched maybe 3 million times. So if you do product placement by just sending him something, you actually buy an advert for 3 million views. Now, my broadcasts aren't watched 3 million views. I just hope, guys, so please subscribe and spread the word about the channel. So you have to work really hard. And the same goes with clothing. Nobody will just give you clothing. So there are a few things you can do. Vintage stores. Go there, make a good deal, give them shots, and in exchange maybe get a 10% discount or get the option that you can bring stuff back. By the way, guys, is my voice too loud or is it okay? I'm turning it down a little bit because I see it clipping over here. So vintage stores is one option. The other thing is second-hand markets. Like go to, we were in Camden, I believe, in a week in London.
Yeah.
Really cool place, really funky clothing. You can get clothing there for little or none. And your grandma, your grandpa, your parents go on the attic and you find the most amazing stuff. The thing is, it's not about that designer dress from 10,000 euros that you want to shoot. It's about that piece of creativity you do with it. So even if you use a bed sheet, I kid you not, Nadine can make something amazing out of a bed sheet. So you can use whatever you want. Gas masks are amazing. It saves you a lot of Photoshop world. And if you have Photoshop work, and if you have an ugly model, it's also cool. But gas masks are amazing to accessorize with or do other stuff. So yeah, anything is possible. It's your own mind that's actually the limit. So any more questions, Annewiek? Because I lost my phone. Oh, here it is. So I have some other questions. So Sonja, on which color temperature do you set your camera? Sonja, I'm shooting raw. And because I'm shooting raw, I'm a real man. No, I'm just kidding. I set my camera color temperature on auto white balance. Now that's wrong, of course, because what will happen if you shoot JPEGs with studio strobes? You have to realize that your studio strobes, the modeling lights are low in color temperature, meaning about 2800 degrees, 3500 degrees, they're very low. When the strobe fires, the strobe is actually about 5000 degrees, 5500 degrees Kelvin. So your images won't look good. But you shoot raw, so that's why you use color checkers from X-Rite. Now let me see where I have mine. Anyway, where's my color checker? So those color checkers you can do for proper white balance, or you can create profiles. Now the profiles you can create in, for example, Photoshop Lightroom or any other software that supports DCP profiling. Now this is the white balance card. So if you shoot this, you can just click on it and your color cast is gone. I never use that. What I always do is I just use this because this is the part where you actually also create your profiles with. And now if you want to do proper white balance, you can just click on one of these three. So you have proper white balance. So you don't need to set your camera on anything. Now for video, that's actually a pretty good question because we are struggling a little bit with it. We have the camera set up for auto white balance. Also that camera is actually set for auto white balance at the moment. When we do a real digital classroom, so the longer broadcast, we actually use this one. And this is the video color checker passport. And here we can set black levels and white levels, so we make sure that nothing clips. Because we're now shooting with one camera, it's okay. But when you shoot with 3 or 4 cameras, you really need something like this. So with this one, we are now setting everything on auto white balance, and even then, sometimes it looks too yellow. The cool thing is, if you have time, you can adjust that. But we do a run, guns kind of stuff, so sometimes stuff will go yellow. But with raw files, you can always adjust that later, so don't worry. Okay, Anthony English, hello, how are you? Johan Stopendaal, what new products do you have planned for the next coming months? Projects. Dude, you don't want to know. How can I make my portraits and models to pop out and not appear flat? Okay, Dev, this is a really cool question. The thing is, contrast. Don't ever expect a model to jump out at you if you use a big softbox straight in front of her. Make sure that you use that side lighting. Let me switch back to my computer again. Oh, by the way, Johan, I will be with your question back. Don't worry, I'm not gonna leave you hanging there. Okay, so contrast. Now, if you look at images like this is a lot of contrast. This is shot with the Westcott ice light and with the barn doors. And you can see there's a lot of contrast. But the thing is, the light is coming from the side and the light is falling off very, very rapidly. And you see that in all my shots, the light is always coming from the side, except here, it's coming almost straight on. Now, why does this image still pop? Because we're using a grid. So I'm really aiming the light on my model. Same here. And same here, it's always under an angle to the model. And now this is really, really high contrast, as you can see here. And this is what makes your models pop out, but that's not all. Look at the backgrounds. Now, if I would place a model really close to the background and don't use any other form of lighting except one big softbox, you will create a soft looking image, or the model won't jump out. Let me see if an example of that. Probably not in this series, because this is what I consider my best work. Oh, there we go. So this is pretty flat, right? Because we use the same lighting on the model and the background. Now, I created some depth by also creating, of course, some light from the back. But this is pretty standard and pretty flat. However, in this shot, you can see we use a lot of backlighting, and this creates that nice halo around our model, makes it a little bit more three-dimensional. Now, as soon as I start moving my lights around really more, like here, and these shots, these models are really close to the background because the light is actually coming from this side. It just wraps around my model and the background, creates a nice vignetting, and you get that pop-out effect, even if they're really close to the background. So make sure you always connect those two together, but not make them too obvious to each other. So it sounds weird, but make sure that the background really helps in the shot. Okay, let's get back. Now, Johan, you had a question, what are new projects planned? We are working really hard on behind the closed doors at the moment. And we want to lift that program from a simple behind the scenes look with one camera. And we always started, this is a live, not live, of course, this is a recording, it's raw, we have crappy audio, crappy lighting, only one camera, and we want to change that. The last few days you already saw a big change in behind the closed doors. We did more storytelling, more narrating, we did a lot more with, for example, a small time lapse at the start. And yes, I watched a lot of Casey Neistat stuff, and he's awesome. And we try to incorporate that a little bit more into our behind the closed doors. So for the moment, that's our biggest project. But we're also working on product and review videos. So that's also something that's coming. And of course, these in-between episodes will come a lot more frequent. So we want to do at least one more normal digital classroom a month and one of these, but probably we'll end up with two. Thanks to T-Mobile, we can now also stream from our iPhones very easily. And then we had another question.
Yeah, it might be interesting for the Dutch viewers that to know that we have interviews with the models online.
Oh yeah, and of course on our YouTube channel, and you're already on our YouTube channel, or you're watching via Facebook, on our YouTube channel we also have now interviews in Dutch for our models. And we have a special YouTube channel where I'm a little bit in charge, not totally. It's called Professional Imaging. And it's connected to the trade show on March 18, 19 and 20. And I'm in charge of most of the speakers. And what we try to do is we create a channel where I interview the people who are on the trade show, but also the speakers. So we now have instructional videos on there from Glyn Dewis. We have instructional videos on there from me and Christiana Shirk. And very soon there will be more. So that's also a project we're working on. And of course, Professional Imaging, 18, 19 and 20 March in Nijkerk, which will be absolutely amazing. And we have a lot more going on. So don't worry, we're growing. The only thing is the frustrating part, and you will see that in today's episode of Behind the Closed Door, is that freaking internet. We really have to fix that because that's annoying as can be. Another question, yes?
I have a few more. When you first started with photography, did you start taking random images to learn? Like landscape, sunsets, family, pets, and slowly found your craft? Or did you have a specific pet for yourself in mind and work on that from day one?
Okay, so when I started out with photography, did I just start taking out simple images, or did I have an idea or a certain path? Let me put it this way. I never, ever could have dreamed that within a few years I would be where I am now. I'm so incredibly blessed for that, and I thank you guys from the bottom of my heart, because you guys are responsible for where I am now. And of course Scott Kelby too. And the thing is, I didn't have a certain path. What I did was I wanted to shoot stuff that I liked. So I shot a lot of sports and birds and that kind of stuff. So the really simple stuff. And I thought it was great. And then I did I think it was a model photography shoot for the local photo club, and I really loved it. It was like, this is really something that I like, and I started doing it more, and I totally fell in love with it. Now, did I dream about ending up at Kelby One? No, 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 no. I wanted to do something else, like there was something in between, and I really had my highs up for that. I was going like, yeah, I hope I can reach those guys and be an instructor for them. And then I met Scott, and literally my whole life changed. And this is something that Scott Kelby can do. He can change your life. And again, we're very blessed to be where we are at the moment. And we thank you guys for that, because somebody can promote the heck out of you, but if you don't have any followers that actually help you and help you grow and show appreciation, you're nowhere. And what is the future? I don't know. We just want to give you guys more and more digital content. And Week is literally working our ass off to get you guys more and more videos. We're uploading more and more. And now, because we have the T-Mobile Unlimited plan, you can expect even more videos. Behind the closed doors will be bigger. And I hope that will be something that you guys like. Digital Classroom will be at least twice a month now, and the behind the scenes videos, product reviews, everything is coming up, and that's what I love to do. I love to give you guys stuff. And of course, if you want to help us, that's possible, because we have a special page called Patreon. And Patreon is like, I always call it a tip bar. You can give $1 a month, and that way you can support our work. And again, this takes a lot of time. We only teach workshops twice a week. And the rest of the week, we're actually hard at work to giving you guys free content. So we really appreciate it if you go to Patreon and support us in that. The other thing is, if you go to Patreon, you also have access to a normal hidden Facebook page where we can actually give you insight in your photos and some other goodies. So that's really, really nice, I think. And of course, if you want to support us any other way and you say, I don't want to do Patreon, get one of our instructional videos. Hey, this is a little bit of commercial. Okay, so let me see if we have any other questions. Thanks a lot, Frank. You're more than welcome, Dev. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Anthony English, with the Q&A episodes, does that mean there will be less Q&A during the live digital classroom shoots? It depends. Do you want it or do you want more? No, Digital Classroom will stay totally interactive. The thing is, I would absolutely love to do more interaction between Digital Classroom, but I have to make sure that my model also gets entertained or gets shot. So I think during Digital Classroom, we actually will give a lot of attention to what we do on the set. Sorry, I also have to make sure that this is okay. There we go. So I have to make sure that on the set everything runs, and we still want to do that interaction with you guys. But the normal Q&As, that will be separate episodes. So I hope that during Digital Classroom it will be more aimed towards what we do. On the other hand, follow us on social media, especially on Twitter and Facebook, because I will ask several times to you guys, what kind of questions do you have? What do you want me to answer? And those questions are collected in OneNote on our iPhones. And we will actually, as soon as we have 4 or 5 questions, we will start a live broadcast. So that means if you guys ask a lot, you will get 3 or 4 or 5 of these episodes a month. So keep asking.
I have a few questions.
Or buy your book. That's a really good one, KB Photography. Whoever you are, I love you. The book is absolutely something that you should buy. It's called Mastering the Model Shoot. And we have Darkman, more. Yeah, we do more, but I also have to sleep sometimes. Okay, Anouk, you have another question.
All the previous pictures were shot with ASS outside. Is this your preferred way of shooting outside?
Okay, all the previous images were shot with HSS.
Yeah,
Oh, no. They're high-speed sync. They're not shot with high-speed sync. We are using an HS system from Ellingrom, but that isn't with us for that long. So most of the shots you saw were still shot the old-fashioned way. The old-fashioned way, meaning just blast the heck out of them. So F22, F32, full blast, and just go for it. And the cool thing is, if you know what happens when you shoot too fast, you get that black bar on top, right? Now watch this, and I'm gonna switch back to my computer. This is a really cool tip, and I also give this in our video about creativity. And let me show you very quickly. Now let's say that we want to shoot this on, and this is shot on normal 125th, but let's say with 125th there's still too much light in the room. Now, because my model is pretty low, I can get away here with 1/400th of a second for the very simple reason C is lit by strobes. Yes? Natural light, ambient light, will always register. So if I shoot this on 125th, there will be no black bar on the top, right? If I shoot it on 1/60th, there will be a small black bar on top. If I shoot it on 250, there will be a more black bar. If I shoot it on 320 or 400, there will be a big black bar on the top. However, let me switch back cameras. However, that black bar doesn't register or doesn't intervene with the ambient light, only with the strobe on the model. So if you make it smart and you make sure that your model is low in the frame, you can get away with a much higher shutter speed on location because that black bar never hits your model. So that's one of the things where you don't need high-speed sync. And nowadays, we love to shoot with high-speed sync. And somebody tells me, KB Photography, it's a good book, Frank. You followed me on Instagram just because I bought it. I follow everybody on Instagram who shows me my book. Oh my. Did I really say that? Anyway, I'm a real follow back kind of guy, but sometimes I'm full because on Facebook you can only have 5,000 friends. Who thought of that? That's ridiculous. I had 5,000 friends in a few months. So anyway, so if you follow me and I always follow you back. And that means that my timeline sometimes is really screwed up. But if you show images with our book or whatever, I really appreciate it. Those images mean a lot to me. So I love that you guys have fun with the book. And of course I follow you back then, dude. Come on, that's cool. Anyway, you had another question.
What was your first camera?
What was my first camera? This is really cool. I don't have it here, but actually my first camera, we call it the beschimmelde marsreep. Let me see how we can translate it back into English. It's a really messed up Mars candy bar. I think it was a Kodak, and you clicked it open, and it was like, let me put it this way, it looked like this. So normally it was folded up, and then you open it up, and you could take pictures, and it was like white, and I believe it was orange. In my mind it was, probably it will be totally different. So that was my first camera, and there was actually a roll of film in it like this. My first serious camera, that was a Praktica. And I had some lenses with it, and I absolutely loved that camera. And then I stopped photography for a very, very, very long time. And I did video. I just loved video. And I didn't do video as in videos like we do for Behind the Closed Doors or these. I did video as going to the zoo or to the dolphinarium or whatever. We just went out with family and we just filmed. We filmed our son growing up, and I don't have any pictures of that, only video. He's now 18, by the way, so they grow up really fast. Then on, I think our marriage, I had a digital camera, a Kodak, I believe it was a DC-40 with 0.5 megapixel TIFFs. So every time my card filled up, I had to go back to the hotel to empty it. And after that, I still had a digital camera, but I never used it because I didn't like it. And then I think we bought the HP Hewlett-Packard 812.
No, it was a Kodak.
No, that was the one we took on our wedding. But I after that I got a small point and shoot from HP Hewlett-Packard.
Or BenQ.
A BenQ. We also had a BenQ before that, a really small camera. And then the HP. Then the HP 850, because I wanted more shallow depth of field. And in my mind, if I bought a better camera, that didn't work that way. And then I think the first DSLR was the Canon 10D, 20D, 5D Mark I, 5D Mark II, 5D Mark III, Sony Alpha 99, A7R, A7R II. And Sony, absolutely, I love it. And in between, we also bought a medium format camera for the more high resolution stuff. And nowadays, of course, 60 megapixels is still higher resolution than the Sony. But I still love the image quality of medium format. So, and actually I started up photography really serious again after 9/11, because we were in the States and we only had a film camera with us, and we saw the world change. And I thought that moving images weren't as powerful as still images. So when I got back home, I really started picking up photography more seriously. And I will never stop, because photography is absolutely the best thing in the world, because it can tell stories with only one image, and you need 90 minutes of video for that. Well, you know what I mean. Okay, let me see. We have more questions. Incoming Instagram ads. Oh, yeah. Okay, will you be coming over to Birmingham, UK for the photography show? No, I will not. And I will tell you exactly why, because we do the photography show in the Netherlands on exactly the same date. So next year, that will be on different dates. And then they still have to ask me. So make sure that you ask the people over there, get Frank over here. Because it's very difficult for us to just offer ourselves and say, hey guys, we want to go to the NEC. You have to be asked. So make sure you make some noise for me, please. Don't tell them I asked. What I will do is before professional imaging with Nadine, we will be in Belgium for the imaging days on the Sony booth. And I will give a lot of demonstrations there, workshops, Q&As and whatever for you guys. And we're also going to stream live, of course, from there. Because now we have internet also in the whole European Union for free. Let me see. I've added Frank on Instagram now. Oh yeah, I really started something. That's gonna be awesome. Thank you, Guy. Perminder, I hope I pronounced it correct. Really, really nice. Okay, let me see. We have more questions on my phone. Jimmy, I think that's the Jimmy we visited in...
Jimmy Peterson?
I think so. That was
Sweden.
That was a really cool story. We had our holiday planned for Sweden, and the day before and don't think I will ever do it to somebody else, guys. So don't even go there. Don't look in our agenda when we leave, because this is a one-time deal. So the day before we left, we got an order in for a flash bender. And it was a Frank Dorov flash bender. So I was going like, yeah, we can send this. And then I looked at the address and it was Sweden. So we looked at it on the map and it's a beautiful, beautiful area of Sweden. So we decided, you know what? If we send it now, it will take probably 6 or 7 days to arrive there. If we drive there, we'll be there in about 4 or 5 days. So we actually surprised the guy by bringing it to his house. That was awesome. He had a great steak and barbecue we did at night. Great parents we met. Really, really cool, memorable. Yeah, it was really nice. So Jimmy, you rock. So I think this is the question from Jimmy, but I removed the last name, but I think it's Jimmy. I would like to hear your opinion on portfolio. How many pictures should it be, digital, printed, or both? Should it be a variety of pictures or more narrow? You got any do's and don'ts when it comes to portfolio? Yeah, don't do it like me. I have way, way too many photos online. And the thing is, actually, somebody told me, if you have 10 images online, that's more than enough. In 10 images, a client should know who you are and should hire you for what you do. With me, it's slightly different. I'm not behind hunting for clients. I'm hunting for you guys, for photography workshop students. I want to get you into our workshops, and by showing you a lot of images, and believe it or not, if you go to my portfolio, 99% of those images were shot during workshops. So that's why I have a lot of images online, but normally I would really advise you guys to make several categories and only do 10 images. The other thing is, don't do any glamour shots online unless you want to earn money with glamour photography, because we call it sword of Damocles, and I think that's a universal translation, is that, let me put it this way, if a 60-year-old girl looks on your website, she will probably see all the images except the naughty ones, or the glamour ones, or the lingerie ones, or the nude ones, or whatever you put online. She will see all the images and she will go like, oh, daddy, I really want to go to this photographer, I want to have him take my pictures, he's awesome. I kid you not, the father will open up your website and the first image you see will be the most nude image you have online. It's just the way it works. Murphy's Law, or Sword of Damocles, or however you want to call it. And it will really hurt your business. So unless you're in the market for glamour photography, don't put those images online. And the cool thing is, we don't have a lot of glamour photography images online, although I teach a glamour workshop. But when we didn't have those images online, a lot of models approached me, Frank, do you do glamour photography? Because we love your work, we love the style you do, it would be great for glamour, do you do glamour? So they will ask you anyway, and you can always say yes, and then you can actually point them towards maybe a hidden folder or whatever with images. Printed or digital? I think iPads. Without any doubt at the moment, because people are using it on iPads. And the cool thing is, if you're in a dark area and you show a print portfolio, that won't look good. That will look really bad. If you show your portfolio on the tungsten light, it will look really bad. If you show it outside, it will rock. If you have your iPad outside, it's okay. But everybody knows that it's okay outside because everybody has an iPad or iPhone. And when you're inside, your images will just burst out with color. So digital without any doubt. And on your digital device, also do it in categories and make sure that you have a nice selection there. Anyway, any more questions?
No, just a compliment.
Oh, I like compliments too. Jimmy Peterson kijkt ook. Hi Jimmy. Really cool. Let me see. Your down-to-earth way of teaching and friendly tone is very appreciated. Looking forward to new adventures. Oh, wait till the camera goes off. Then you hear me not so friendly. No, I'm just kidding. I'm always friendly. Although, in a week, am I always friendly?
Yeah, of course.
Why are you smiling?
I'm trained.
You're trained.
I'm a trained professional.
Potty trained or? Oh my. Okay, let me go to a question because I have another question from Sonia. And that's actually about this shot. So let me turn the camera, not that camera, come on Frank. Turn the computer to there. Frank, how did you make this shot? Okay, very, very simple. Let me see if I can do in-between shot. There we go. Oh, don't you just love modern technology? So anyway, how did I take this shot? It's very, very simple. What we did is a longer shutter time and strobes, and make sure that on the strobes the modeling lights are off. Make the model look a little bit up, and then her face is actually lit by the strobe, so that's a fraction of a second, like 1/5000th of a second, so that freezes her face. And then you just move the camera around. And that will actually make the ambient light, so all the chandeliers on the bottom, because they were chandeliers, so here you have a shot without the movement. Totally different shot, but you can see how it's built up. You see over here one strobe on her face and the chandeliers. And here we actually used a shutter time of, let me see, this is ISO 50. Oh, where's my shutter time? 0.4 seconds. So really slow shutter speed, but you don't have to breathe slowly for the very simple reason. The strobe already froze your model, so you can move around really, really easy. So that's the way we shot that one. And of course, to remind you guys who made this episode possible, and after that I will be back, of course. Don't you just love those guys? And by the way, we are now testing the new 4K monitor from BenQ, and that one is absolutely stunning. So if you're in the market for a new monitor, make sure you check out BenQ, because they really create some really cool stuff. Okay, let me see. We have some more questions here from Darkman, Mr. 47. Frank, I just bought a Sakonic L478D light meter. Your videos convinced me. Thank you. It also has the option to calibrate the meter to the camera sensor, much like your D758DR. Do I need Sakonic cards, or will the color checker or any gray cards do it? Yes. Now, watch this. You can use this one. It's the color checker passport, and in the software of Sakonic there's actually an option. As soon as you start up the software, we call it RTFM, but you can always ask me, of course. Now the IT guys will probably get this. The guys who doesn't get this, Google it, because I'm not going to pronounce those words online. And they're bad words. I don't mean it bad, don't worry. We love you guys. So anyway, so you take a color checker passport, and what you do in the software, you actually select color checker passport, and you do 3 stops over, 3 stops under, 1 stop in the middle, and it will calibrate. However, this is not my preferred way of doing it. I made a whole video about the light meter, by the way. You can get that on, let me make a little bit of advertising for myself. You can get it here, Frank Dorff Videos, and it's called The Light Meter. It's a really cool video. I'm not going to show you the trailer for that because it's not digital classroom, so I don't have to switch sets, so we don't do any advertising during this broadcast. Although, buy our light meter video, you're going to love it. So that's the whole commercial for today. So what I will normally do is I will make a real 18% gray card. Now, this has to be a real 80% gray card. So for example, this one won't do because this is way too bright. Now also, on the color checker passport, there's no real 18% gray. So 80% gray is pretty dark. And that is one of the Sakonic cards, but you can also get them from QP Cards or any other brand. Lastolight also has one. Now you place that with very, very flat lighting. You shoot it, and you make sure that in your workflow, so if you use Capture One, it has to be in your Capture One workflow with all the settings you normally use. So don't do any other funky stuff like, okay, now I do it flat and then when I shoot, no. the way that you shoot it. And make sure that that middle gray part after white balance is on 128, 128, 128. Now, a lot of people will argue about that doesn't work and that isn't the way to do it. You have to do it like this or you have to do it like that because color spaces are different. It's in the raw workflow. So make sure you do it like that. And I do it, I've done it for years and all my exposures are spot on. If I use the Psychonic software and I shoot in Adobe RGB and I edit in Adobe RGB, it's okay. As soon as I edit in Pro Photo RGB, it's not okay. For the very simple reason, the Psychonic software, you need to create TIFFs or JPEGs. I don't remember exactly. I believe you can also do TIFFs. And TIFFs and JPEGs have a color profile connected to them. And you need to do Adobe RGB, I believe, or sRGB. Again, look at the software. It's been a while since I've done it. And with the 18% gray card, the way that I do it, you literally do it straight on, straight after the capture. And it gives me great shots. So, and when I do it, by the way, via the software of Psychonic, I'm about 1/10 of an f-stop off. So I'm doing something right. And I think my way is way faster. On the instructional video, I show you the more advanced way, the way that Psychonic actually does it. And their software rocks, so try it out. It's really easy to do. Annemiek, do we have more questions?
Yes. What's your favorite picture taken?
Picture taken of me or picture taken?
No, that you. What's your favorite picture you've taken?
Oh my. What's the favorite picture I took? Oh my. Okay, let me switch back to the computer and let me see what we can do. And Annemiek is now leaving, so I have to do it now alone. So don't ask anything on Facebook anymore, because I only can check YouTube. Okay, let me see. What is my favorite image? My goodness. Okay, this is all my best work I ever did. So this is actually the first shot I ever took that I really liked. And this was heavily inspired by David LaChapelle. Don't worry, I won't go through all the images. This one I really like. This was where I learned the difference between gaffer's tape and duct tape, because we were supposed to use gaffer's tape to get this in their hair. And yes, we used duct tape, especially when we took it off. That difference was really clear. That's no joke, I'm afraid. Let me see. This one, oh, this one is really cool. This one was actually a pre-digital classroom. We had a small webcam set up in our studio and we ran it for about 9 or 10 hours. You saw the model in makeup, you saw her doing all the stuff. And that was so much fun. And this was actually done with a lot of input from you guys. So this many years ago, by the way. This was from, let me see, 2010. Okay, really love these shots. This was done in a western town. This one was more pure fun. We had like this was window shears and we got the wind in there. So that was a really cheap solution, but really cool. Let me see. The DeLorean shots I really like. Oh my, what a question. I think if I have to be really honest, I think I know which one. And it will be cliche. I think this one, the Dragon Lady. Although on the other hand, I have to be really honest, I have some other stuff here. And this is more newer. And I always like my older stuff better than my newer stuff. I don't think I'm going backwards, of course. I go forwards. But sometimes you have these shots where you really go like, wow. So this one I really like. Very hardcore-like. If you don't know hardcore, make sure you check them out. It's absolutely awesome photography. I also love this kind of stuff. We always have interns and they have to take a picture at the end of their internship, and she didn't want to. So I made a joke. I said, okay, then you have to dress up like a bear and or a rabbit, and she actually did. So yeah, that didn't work. This one I really like. This was shot during a digital, not the digital classroom, during an ultimate weekend. We have one again on February 24 and 25th. Same with this one, also shot during a ultimate weekend. Not one of my favorite shots, sorry. Let me see, which one do I like more? What a question. Oh, of course, this one. Without a doubt, one of my favorite all-time shots. Now, I'm a huge Queen fan, and this is one of my best friends, Chaim. And he's also a huge Queen fan, and we made this deal that one day we would shoot a Queen shot, because I think in far he looks a little bit like Freddie. The thing was, we wanted to do it right, so we had to find that freaking vacuum cleaner, and it took us a long time to get that one. So finally we did it. This one I really like. This, I think this tells a lot about my photography. It's I love the smoke. I love the really, really dark areas here. The dresses from Sinister.
2:00
Oh,
p.m.
thank you, Cortana. Yeah, it's 2:00. The chandelier, and this is done with a longer shutter speed. So I really like this one. This is 1/15 of a second. And from the really new stuff, let me see. We're working on this. Oh, wait a minute. Next to Dragon Lady, this is one of my absolute favorite shots. And I will tell you a story about that one. But I have to switch to the full camera again, because this one is hilarious. Now, you know this show, right? Professional Imaging. And this is a show which I absolutely love. I adore that show. And the speakers on there I'm responsible for. And they're absolutely great speakers again this year. Guys like Glyn Dewis, Christiana Shirk, Joe Carlos. It's amazing that I can work with those kind of people on one stage. And the shot you just saw, it never happened to me that I was really sick on a trade show. And I kid you not, I was really sick. I thought I was going to die. I ended up at the first, to the emergency room. And the first day I lost my voice, and I already didn't feel very well, and I was a little bit like almost fainting. And so I ended up in the emergency room the morning after, and they gave me a choice: get a lot of pills and be totally like woo for one day, and then you can do one trade show day, or go home and relax. So I said, I don't want to let anybody down, give me those shots. And I couldn't work that day, so that was the first time in my life I actually missed a trade show day. And I was lying in bed, and I don't remember anything of that day, so I don't know what happened. I ended up with some really weird animals in the room, but I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. So the next day I was on stage, and the medication still worked, and I didn't have my voice. And I kid you not, I can't remember how I shot that shot. I even retouched it on stage, because that's the one that we actually used. The cool thing is, as soon as I came home, I ended up in bed for a week. And when I came out of bed, I was going through all the images, and I saw that shot, and I was going like, wow, that's an amazing shot. That's Nadine. And then Anouk said, yeah, that's the one you shot on stage. And then it came back to me, like how I created the shot. That's the weirdest experience ever. Because the moment I saw the shot, I was just going like, how did it end up on my laptop? This is an amazing shot. And then Anouk told me that I did it, and I was going like, ooh. And then, now I know exactly how I did it, but that's really, and I think that's also why it's a great shot. And it also proves to you that with the right assistance, Chaim, Bart and Anouk were all helping me today, because otherwise I could never, ever have done that shot. And of course Nadine. And you guys in the audience, you were so incredibly understanding for how I was standing on stage. And you didn't let me hanging there, although my voice totally gave up. So that really gave me that energy to take that shot. And because everybody helped out, I could only focus on that shot. And then you can see, if you have proper control over your lighting and you know what you're doing, imagine what you can do if you're totally healthy. Because a lot of people don't realize that the power of photography is not in the lighting, is not in the gear or whatever. It's about understanding what you do and telling that story with your gear. And if you know everything about the gear, you can just concentrate on the story. I don't want to make it too long. Okay, let me see. Hey Frank, I calibrate my monitor with the Color Monkey display calibrator. However, when changing ambient light conditions from one day to the next, how can I tell if my monitor's brightness is set right? Make sure you don't have any problem with ambient light. Now, we use sun hoods over our monitors, and we have controlled lighting. So if you look at the back, you can see actually that we don't have any window outside, so it's locked up. And we even are going to get new curtains over there, black, and a nice background. So we're going to use this as a background for Digital Classroom, the in-between episodes, and of course the product reviews. So we're going to build something in the back, and you can see that in behind the closed doors very soon. Okay, let me see. Anthony, when shooting with smoke machines, are there any tricks to using them? Yeah, press the button. There. No, just kidding with you. There is so much going on with smoke machines. I kid you not. It's when I started out with them, I just bought one and I was going like, you press the button, smoke comes out, great. And I was just going like, this sucks. Because it didn't work. Smoke was going everywhere. So you have these different kind of, I don't know the exact English terms, but it's the thickness of the material, the fluidity or whatever. I just make that word up. But it's like the thickness of the smoke fluid. So when you use very thick one, you will get big clouds of smoke and you get a lot of structure. When you use the middle one, that's the one I'm using, you get something that will be nice and structured when it comes out, and then it will fade out a little bit to a mist. And you have the really, really, well, the thin stuff, and that's more like a mist when it comes out. So I don't like that stuff. So make sure you choose wisely. And then you have to build it up. And you always have to remember, when you shoot smoke, you always shoot from the back. Because if you shoot it from the front, imagine driving a car, headlights goes up, boom, big white wall. So you don't want that. What you want is light your smoke from the back. And then if you want to light the face of your model, make sure your light is from the side or really aimed at the model. And then you start building it up. So you start on the floor, you build your way up from the back, make sure that the smoke comes in the front, and then you give a little bit of puff in front. So it's really, I don't want to say it's an art form, but it isn't like just press the button. And one more tip about smoke machines, don't buy the expensive one. Don't go to a photography store. Just buy them at, we call in the Netherlands, we call it bakshop. It's like a shop for DJs or whatever. And just buy the cheapest one with remote controls. We buy them for 70 euros. We have two. If one breaks down, we still have another one. But we normally use two. And sometimes it happens that both break. We had that once. And that was terrible. But we could borrow one because we have a States company very close to us. So that was really cool. Okay, any more questions? Let me see. Otherwise, I'm going to end this. Because we were planning on doing it only for 10 minutes to check, and now we are 50 minutes in, and I love doing this, so don't worry, guys. And I think that's it. So now we're going to check if the audio is still in sync. So now the audio should be in sync, and that's the weird thing. It can never be out of sync because I'm actually mixing it together with our video cameras. So we also recorded this on hard drive. So for me now the test is to see if everything worked. I thank you so very much for watching, guys. My name is Frank Dorp, but you already knew that, of course. Otherwise, you wouldn't be on my channel because the channel has my name. But in case you don't know, this is my website, frankdorp.com. Make sure you check it out. And please, and I really mean please, subscribe to our channel. That really helps. In the past, we've been very, very lazy with asking you guys to subscribe. The material we give you guys should mean that we have a lot more subscribers to our channel than we have now. So if you're not subscribed yet, please do it. And I will tell you exactly why. I'm always open to you guys, right? I never lie. We are now at a point where we are starting to get more interest of companies in our channel to help us out. So give us products to review, help us out with gear. And they always look at the amount of subscribers. Now, I know a lot of you guys watch our programs because if you go to other channels, you see like 50 million subscribers. You know who I mean, right? And you only see 3 million views. When you go to our channel, we have a little bit less than 20,000 subscribers, but all our programs are in the 1,500 to 2,000 views. So that means that a lot of you guys are really interested in what we do. So if you want to help us out, please subscribe to our channel. And on the other hand, of course, if you want to help us out even more, go to Patreon. Okay, let me see. We have another question coming in. Oh, no, somebody just says, good day, Frank. And thank you so very much. Oh, by the way, I do want to give you one more tip. And this is something that somebody asked me this morning, and I didn't realize this. So I want to do that now. Okay, let me go back to my computer. Okay, so a while ago, I switched from Mac to PC. And a lot of people told me, like, Frank, you're crazy. And I know. But I needed the speed for my video editing. Now, when you look at my computer, it pretty much looks like a Mac, right? And this is something that I found really interesting online. This is a dock, and this made the whole difference for me between PC and Mac. And this dock is actually called Nexus. The cool thing about Nexus dock is if I open up Chrome, and I do this with any other with any other docs, and I will open it up again, it will actually open up a new window, and Nexus doesn't do it. The same as with Mac. Now, if I close my Chrome, and I will click now, nothing happens, as you can see. Oh, that should happen. Okay, let me do that again. So I will close it and I will click, and now it will open it up again. So it acts exactly the same as the Mac does. And that was for me very, very important. So the dock helps. And what I did is I changed my taskbar to be on top, because in all honesty, I still don't really like the start menu from Windows. It's okay, but I don't like it that much. So the dock really made the difference. And that's actually the only change I made. So that's the whole secret. And a lot of people still think when they see this, I'm on the Mac. The other thing is video editing. We use, and this is totally free, it's called DaVinci Resolve. And you would not believe the power you have in this software. It's called DaVinci Resolve 12.5 from Blackmagic. And it actually looks, let me see. Now most of my stuff is now offline, so you won't see anything. But this looks pretty much like Final Cut. And it's really fast, and you have this color, which is amazing. So you can do all this stuff with your colors. And if you're interested, I can do a small video on this very soon. And you have your delivery. So YouTube, the only thing you can't do is YouTube 4K. So we do that as custom. And this software is immensely fast. And it's also available, by the way, on Mac. So DaVinci Resolve from Blackmagic. I really, really appreciate you guys if you check it out. And by the way, we're not affiliated with Blackmagic. We don't have any contact with Blackmagic. So they probably don't even know who I am. So I'm only telling you guys this as a friend. DaVinci Resolve, really great if you're into video editing. And it's free. So there's nothing that isn't in the free version that I miss. And unless you do HDR and you need, for example, more computers working together, that's in the studio version. It's ridiculous that they actually offer it for free. It's really great. Oh, there's another question coming in. Loved your video about setting up Wacom tablets in Windows 10. Do you know, does it work on the Windows 7? It should work on the Windows 7. And this is, by the way, and don't get this the wrong way, I love my Macs. And the reason I love my Macs is for the very simple reason. You plug something in and it works. I was so frustrated with the whole Windows thing. And I'm not the kind of guy that will kick a machine out. But I spent, I think, a few nights till 4 o'clock in the morning figuring out what the heck was going wrong with some stuff. And there was one driver that didn't work. Cost me 2 new installations. The Wacom didn't work at all the way I was used to on the Mac. So I figured it out in the end. So some stuff I found online myself, but I created a video, I believe the day before yesterday. And that was the one that really made a difference, because I had this sticky pen. Like every time I moved something and I would lift my pen up, the slider would move. And I was just going like, what is going on? It never happened on the Mac. And then I found out that was actually a click drag on your mouse. So if you hold your mouse button for 2 seconds or more, it will actually glue. So you can move everything around. So I had to find that, and that was somewhere in the... Anyway, just watch the video. And it's insane. It's like ridiculous. But anyway, I solved it, and now my Wacom works exactly the same. And this is something that I want to stress to you guys. If you are now working on a Mac and you see me working on a PC, you go like, oh, Frank switched to the PC, let's do it. If you're not tech savvy like me, so in other words, I'm not afraid to mess around in the registry, don't. Stay with your Macs. If you only do photography, the Macs are fast enough. If you do like us, you do a lot of work under video and 4K editing and multicam editing, then the PC is much, much faster than my Mac Pro was. But otherwise, stay with your Macs until Apple really loses the ball. And I think that will take about 1 or 2 years. And I really hope not, by the way. I hope they release the most amazing Mac Pro soon and the most amazing new MacBooks, because they really dropped the ball on that one. But I don't know. At the moment, the PC market looks way more interesting with the Wacom Mobile Studio Pro, Lenovo, Microsoft, Dell. Look at what the guys are doing. And Apple only has that big... Anyway, I don't want to go there. So that's why I gave you the warning. Don't switch to PC. Think it's easy. It's literally very hard. But you know what JFK once said? We don't do it because it's easy. We do it because it's hard. Yeah. Sometimes. Anyway. Soms zit er een herhaling in het geluid. Oh, sorry. That's Dutch. Sometimes there's a delay in the sound. The final sentence will be repeated. I don't have that thing here, but we will check that out. Let me see somebody else. Final question. What cloud storage do you use for backup? Dropbox, but our internet is so incredibly slow that we don't use Dropbox for backups. We just use it for sharing stuff with other people that we need and shared post material, so that's for advertising. And we use SmugMug. I really, really appreciate SmugMug, and you have unlimited storage there. So when we're in America or anywhere else, by the way, where they have fiber, we always upload a lot of our portfolio to SmugMug on the backup side because it's unlimited. Let me see. We have a lot more questions coming in now. A tutorial would be great on DaVinci Resolve. I will see. I'm still a beginner with DaVinci, but I did find out some cool stuff. Final question. Okay, I already did that. Hey Frank, Cafe Obscura. Hello. Let me see. Erwin, it's a full NLA with color grading. Insane program, as Frank said, and it's free. Okay, that's about DaVinci Resolve. Audio is fine on my end here, probably not on your end. On my end, it's great. Let me see. Cafe Obscura, are you streaming on unlimited T-Mobile now? No, we're not streaming on unlimited T-Mobile, and I will tell you exactly why. Unlimited T-Mobile in the Netherlands is absolutely awesome. We had downloads from 150 megabytes and 40 megabytes up. That's insane for me. That really gets me excited, by the way, because we don't have any fiber over here. And we had this problem with that weird audio delay. So I want to make sure that during Digital Classroom, we use KPN outer regions because now we have 40 up, stable. And wanted to do the test today with KPN for the very simple reason that's the provider we're going to use during Digital Classroom. The reason for this is very, very simple. On our unlimited data from T-Mobile, we only have 5 gigs a day only. And after that 5 gigs a day, we have to buy for €0, so it's free, 1 gig updates. So every time you burn to your 5 gigs, you get a text. Do you want to buy for €0, 1 gig more? If that 1 gig is done, 1 gig more, so it's really unlimited. So there's no limit on it. But every time when you burn through the 5 gigs, you have to buy it in 1 gigs and 1 gigs and 1 gigs. And during Digital Classroom, this whole stream is about 8 or 9 gigs. So that means that during Digital Classroom, we actually have to constantly respond to the text and say, okay, I want to get for €0, I want to get 1 gig more. Okay, I want to have 1 gig more. And I'm afraid that if somebody forgets, because I'm doing the whole, I don't want to call it show, but you know what I mean, the whole broadcast, I don't want to be cut off. So that's why we keep using KPN. But T-Mobile is absolutely blew me away with their download speed. Did I miss something? Yes, you did, because we're almost done. And that were all the questions. Okay, guys, so I would like to thank you so very much. This was a test broadcast, which actually got totally out of hand. And if you like it, please subscribe to our channel and let us know in the comments below. And I'm signing off at the moment. So thank you so very much. And most of all, thank you, BenQ, for making these extra episodes possible. And, well, we'll see you next time. And next time is actually next Wednesday. And we have a really cool broadcast for you guys then. You're gonna love it. See you guys. Bye-bye.